Well, we may have missed out on Shanghai, but landed at PR Mapefo Airport at Thohoyandou in Venda. Venda, the land of legend, where the cream of the off-road racing fraternity have gathered to compete in the final event for the South African Championships. Silverline Venda Sun 500. Competitors from all over the country in rigs of all shapes and sizes, from Beetles to state-of-the-art space frames, lined up for scrutineering at the Independence Stadium. Racing on the first day promised all action, as only a few points separated the log leaders. We spoke to Wilfred Westlau and Derek Pinoy.
It's not a threat at all. We only need 13 points to clinch the title.
Well, I'm going to just go out there and go as quick as I can, because in off-road racing, there's nothing happens till you're at the finish and the flags drop.
On Friday the 18th, the casino racing section will determine actual starting positions for the next day. For some, the Silverline Venda Sun would always be remembered as the one we ended up in a hole. And for others, negotiating not only a tough course, but also playing dodgems with the local four-legged species and enthusiastic supporters. Ian Gregg, who later received the Spirit of Venda Award for assisting a biker in distress, decided to hitch a lift from a friendly grader operator. And the results of the racing section: cars Kasi Kutsia and Swanepoel, as you can see, in the Nissan Safari, 48 minutes and 38 seconds, followed by Draper and Smith and Pinoy and Purchase. In the bike section, it was Jeremy Davies who had the fastest time on the Driveline's Kawasaki, 41 minutes and 54 seconds, followed by Willie Island, Alfie Cox and Mike Kent. Competitors awoke to a beautiful, clear day, and at 7 a.m. they were ready to go. Kasi Kutsia, fastest on the casino racing section. Linton Draper lined up for the grueling 500 kilometers, and he had plenty to ponder about. Right on his tail was Derek Pinoy and Books Carolyn. Closely followed by drivers who could upset the day: Kenny Scholthammer, Gavin Orbell and Robin Yates. Their times were so close, and real needle racing awaits us for almost 8 hours. Kasi Kutsia in his Nissan Safari soon settled into his driving style. Whilst further back, Robin Yates was pressing Kenny Scholthammer to the limit. Hard at work and with the adrenaline pumping was Derek Pinoy and Jack Purchase. They have to put as much time between them and the team of Wilfred Westlau and Dagmar Blankner if there is to be the slightest chance of the South African title. Through the first river crossing, the Levuvu River was giving Pinoy the chance of overtaking Yates. This is Gavin Bell, who was going well but was soon to retire with steering difficulties. Jack Spencer was using all the horses of his Rover V8 to negotiate this crossing. After 1 hour and 30 minutes, it was Willie Ireland leading the bikers. He had overtaken Jeremy Davies, who had an unfortunate tumble. Not wanting to be outdone, the locals staged their own race. Maybe this young fella will be severely penalised for not wearing a helmet. "90 kilometres into the race, Cassie Coetzee and Pete Swanepoel start the first of the mountain passes and the start of the real back-breaking section. Closely followed by Derek Pinoy and Jack Purchase. By now the front-runners have churned up the track, and the rest of the field have to contend with loose sand and rocks on an incline, which left casualties with broken engine mountings and flat tyres. Some competitors even had their navigators, irrespective of sex, literally and figuratively grovelling in the Venda dirt. A flying Willie Island tackles another river crossing, possibly unaware that a very determined Alfie Cox, recent Roof of Africa winner, was desperately trying to catch him. The unfortunate Cox was forced to retire 20 minutes later with electrical problems. Breathing down Alfie's neck was Jeremy Davies, winner of the Toyota Desert Race held earlier this year. Some conditions of the Silver Line Venda Sun 500 were likened to the infamous Baboon's Pass of the Roof of Africa. And even more treacherous, as Willie and Jeremy soon experienced on this stretch of tractionless rock and sand. After this checkpoint, Cassie Coetzee was forced to retire with transfer box problems, allowing Jack Spencer in his Sandmaster to take the overall lead. He was first through the refuel point, giving him a considerable lead of 12 minutes over second-placed Books Carolyn in the Lubriquip Raceco.
That's going fine, but we've had a few problems. We had a puncture, and then we got stuck. We've lost the reverse gear, so we've had a bit of drama, but the car's going fine. We don't know what happened to Dennis. We thought there were still about 4 guys in front of us, so to find out we're lying second now. Alles reg.
Eight minutes later, it was Derek Pinoy's turn to refuel his Chenoweth after he lost his second overall position to Carolyn because of drive shaft gremlins.
Just like it. Jack was about 6 or 7 minutes behind.
Jack's 15 minutes ahead of you.
15.
That's
Jack.
Jack is now 17.
17.
And Bux? You can go for it.
Books about 5 minutes.
The thing is, I've got nothing to lose, John. It's 6 or nix.
Go for it.
The second over here.
Here, Willie Island demonstrates his aggressive driving skills to make up for his recent unsuccessful attempt in the Baja 1000, where his co-rider, Hilton Beattie, crashed their bike out of contention on the first day of the event. Here's Jeremy Davies negotiating one of the many river crossings. Not finding the water crossing all that easy were Denecker and Kronk, no doubt wondering whether an amphibious vehicle would have been better suited to this stage. Mike Kant, showing incredible determination on his 200cc KDX as he is hauling in the rest of the field in this, his first ever season of off-road racing. "370 kilometres into this gruelling event, Derek Pinoy has taken second place over from the luckless Books Carolyn, who had wrong-slotted into a tea plantation. And now the race is on, as only a slender 47 seconds separate them. But Pinoy's second place is in jeopardy as he has a puncture in the left rear tyre. Now it's decision time. Pinoy has Books Carolyn in his rear view mirror and a rocky terrain ahead. What is his decision going to be? He stops. And Carolyn's racecoat thunders past him and back into second place, a position he held to the finish. As the finish line became a reality, competitors were hoping for an easier terrain. But it was not to be, as they were soon confronted with virtually impossible riding conditions which taxed man and machine to the limit. Jack Spencer and Steve Vermaak could already taste the winner's champagne as they crossed the last obstacle before the finishing post. Willie Island comes screaming through the dust to catch up with the leading cars and make up almost 2 hours on both Spencer and Carolyn, an incredible performance. Pinoy's bad luck continues. He has to be winched out of the mud, and later he was penalised for a malfunctioning yellow light. However, this did not deter him from finishing a worthy third overall. And there's a victory salute from Steve as Jack crosses the line for their first victory in a national event in 2 years. A jubilant Willie Island still finds the energy to wheelie first past the checkered flag.
Some boats. And this is... Here you go, mate. Well, thank you. Very nice. This race was tough, butchy.
Thanks for that look.
And there are the overall results. Willie Island took the honours on the Butch Hirsch KTM, time of 7 hours, 2 minutes and 8 seconds, followed by Jeremy Davis, Kevin Tebbett, Mike Cant and Kevin DuPont. For the cars, it was Spencer and Vermaak who came in first, Carolyn and Geiger second, Pinoy and Purchase were third. Tough though it was, the event ended on a happy note.